The first conversation was we were walking with Talia in the stroller to the
Yeah.
strawberry patch,
Yes.
and we were, almost back home, which I think it was 4 miles we were walking, and I told you that your father's had extra plots at the family burial area, which was at that point like 2 hours south of where you lived, and you said, I can't see her being so far away from us.
I do remember actually that you were the one who first brought up these logistics because you're a planner. And it took a few starter conversations before I let it rest in my mind and get to the point where I could then start to think about planning it. And I think I remember the first few conversations, I was not very happy to be brought into those ideas. Because yes, you had a very clear idea of what you thought would be the best for her. I hadn't started to think about it at all. So of course I was immediately offended that you had put thought into it.
Yeah.
And then of course we ended up going with your plan, because your plan, as almost always, I think it through, I go in a full circle, and then I go, I mean, it was what my mom suggested before anyway.
But it was having months and months to think it through that allowed us, all of us, to and as you know, your in-laws had strong feelings against cremation.
I was very afraid personally about the size of the coffin. I just was so terrified about the image of that, and therefore of that image hurting my other children or disturbing the people around me. And so for a brief second I thought about cremation, which in the Jewish tradition is not usually done, and my in-laws very strongly asked me not to, given our legacy, their legacy specifically with the Holocaust, and so that seemed like an easy way to honor that. I wasn't seriously contemplating it, but it was enough that they had strong feelings about it, and I would never make a choice that was specifically against someone else's wishes. It just seems hurtful.
Well, Carla, you also didn't, as I recall, you didn't want any children, and you knew your friends would come with their children. You didn't want any children to have to be in the presence of the coffin.
Yes.
And so I guess this is how with my mother, I had a funeral, and I had a memorial service, a memorial program. We divided the two, and ultimately there was a graveside funeral, and I thought it was beautiful that your brother brought his 3 children, your cousin Bill brought his 2 pre-adolescent, children. Family was there, not friends with children, but family, and family with children was there. And Carla spent a lot of time on the gravestone, which is beautiful, which reflects Talia.